With Microsoft and Sony pretty much announcing the end of the console wars by allowing each other's exclusive titles to slowly start releasing on each other's consoles. So, like, for example, Gears of War, which is a famously exclusive title for Microsoft, going over to the PlayStation, and the Spider-Man games, Insomniac, which is Sony, going over to the Xbox, for example, right? During the peak of the console wars, in my opinion, the peak is around early 2000s to like 2020, I want to say, to be honest with you. I just felt like that would have never happened. There's no way in the early, there's no way Xbox would have allowed Halo to ever be on PlayStation. Okay? It just would not have happened. There's no way you would have seen that, right? And don't get me wrong, I actually like that in this day and age, hey, if I have an Xbox or I have a PlayStation and I want to play a game like Gears of War or I want to play Spider-Man but I don't have a PlayStation or I don't have an Xbox, it's nice to be like, okay, I can just have whatever console I want that I prefer and be able to play any game I want, right? I think that's a beautiful thing. I truly do. But I do miss what the console wars have brought us and what it does. Because in my opinion, the console wars are more than just a bunch of aggressive video game marketing, right? It is also competition. It breeds and forces these companies to want to outdo each other because they're vying for the gamers' attention. They're vying for this pool of people who are paying money to buy their consoles and play these video games on said consoles. And it wasn't like every single game that came out, it was either for this console, that console. There was plenty of games that you were allowed to play no matter what console you had. And that's great. But there were a few flagship titles that came out during the peak of the console wars, which made it so much fun because they constantly were competing and wanting to outdo each other, and it gave birth to some of the most classic games you know today, such as Halo, Gears of War, right? Like those games, Super Smash Bros. When it comes to Nintendo 64, and then eventually Nintendo GameCube with Super Smash Bros. Melee, which is, in my opinion, the best Smash Bros. To date. I know Super Smash Bros. Ultimate has a claim in that, has a stake, and people can debate with me, but I still think Super Smash Bros. Melee that came out in the GameCube was one of the best, most entertaining Smash Bros. I've ever played, and I think it's still considered one of the least, at least one of the most popular, right? But you had so many. I mean, you had the console wars, man. In 2000, you had the PS2 come out, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, the PS2 is still the best-selling console of all time. And if it's not still that, at one point, very recently, it was the best-selling console of all time. The jump between PlayStation and PlayStation 2 was so insane, bro. Like, it's one of those things where you had to be there. I mean, you can play it now and kind of see it, but you're already used to very high like you're just used to something different. Back then, to play a PlayStation 1 or a Nintendo 64 and then go to a PlayStation 2 was crazy. And I'll never forget, I said this in my documentary movie I made. I got my PlayStation 2 because my dad used to work at this store called Circuit City. If you don't know what Circuit City is, it's basically Best Buy, except with a red circle that said Circuit City. It was awesome, nerdy ass place. Rest in peace of Circuit City. But he used to work there, and because of that, he had a discount. And so he said that, hey, if you can learn, I think I had like an ABC quiz or something like that, or A through Z quiz, and he's like, you get a really high score, if not a perfect score, I will get you a PlayStation 2. I ended up getting a really high score, aced it, I got my PS2. That was how I got my first console, because the PlayStation 1 was my brother's. The PlayStation 2 was mine. And man, Oh my gosh, the PlayStation 2 games, bro. It wasn't even just about like, I mean, these weren't title exclusives, but you had Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, you had Grand Theft Auto 3, you had Final Fantasy games, you had, oh man, so many Mega Man games, bro. So many Mega Man games were on the PlayStation 2. I loved it. You had Devil May Cry, which I don't think, I could be very wrong. I don't remember Devil May Cry being a multi-console game until like way later, till like 2012, 2013 or something like that. I could be wrong on that one. Y'all can fact check me. But man, the console wars were great, dude. Like, oh, don't even get me started on Metal Gear Solid for PlayStation. Like, there's just so many games that the PlayStation 2 had, and then you can use it as a DVD player. Like, it was such a great console to have in the home. Then the Xbox came, right? And it was funny because for Christmas, I'll never get, I think it was 2001 or 2002. I think it was 2002 maybe. For Christmas, my parents saved up. My parents really worked really hard for this. Man, they worked really hard to get us this. They got my brother an Xbox and then got me the GameCube. And I'll never forget. I love the GameCube dev. I love the Sonic Adventures 2, Super Smash Bros. Melee, Luigi's Haunted Mansion, Mario, Super Mario Sunshine. Like, there's Legend of Zelda. There's so many games, right? But I'll never forget when my brother played Halo Combat Evolved. I was mesmerized, but I wasn't allowed to play it. He never allowed me to play his Xbox, yada yada. Then eventually, he moved on to, I think it was Xbox 360, and so I got his Xbox. And then I started playing, and then I played for the first time Halo 2. And I never looked back. Halo 2. Halo 2 left such an impact on me as a youngin'. I immediately saved up all my money. It took me a little bit. I saved up money, saved up time, saved up. Traded in my entire PS2 library. Hated I did that. Now looking back at it, but I traded my entire PlayStation 2 library. I had like 50 something games because back then games were like $20, and there was also bargain bin deals, which, by the way, too, Kingdom Hearts and Kingdom Hearts 2, PlayStation exclusives. Oh my god. But yeah, so I saved up all my money after playing and beating Halo 2 3 times. I completely beat Halo 2 3 times. So it forced me to go get an Xbox 360 because I had to play Halo 3. And oh my gosh, dude, it was just one of the best things of my life. I freaking loved Halo 3. And games like that, during the console wars, games like that is where you're like, a game leaves such an impact on you that you have to go play this thing. And back then, the marketing was super aggressive for video games. You'd be going to a movie to go watch a movie, right? Like, let's say back then, like 2008, I was going to watch like Iron Man 1. Back in 2008, watch Iron Man 1 for $8.52. I remember because I still had that ticket stub for the longest time. And I went, and during the movies, you would see Halo 3 have a commercial or have an ad before your movie starts. You would see Batman, the Arkham series, they had commercials in movie theaters. Like, video games had commercials on TV, at movie theaters, at your local GameStops or EB Games, Blockbuster, Hollywood Video, Home Video, whatever place that sold video games, there'll be ads for it. Then you had midnight releases. Midnight releases during console wars were so much fun. I wish I was an adult during that time just so I could experience a true midnight release, because they don't have them anymore, and even when they do, it's nothing. And I mean nothing compared to what it really used to be, man. Like, it used to be so freaking cool, dude. And yeah, I just feel like console wars breeded so much competitiveness, vying for gaming studios time to be like, hey, this game you're making it, please make it for our console because this is something we have to have. And it's something that will drive consumers to want to buy our console, not theirs. And again, I'm all for sharing exclusive. Like, this at this point with computers and everything, like how everything is, I get it. I truly do. This is more me going on a nostalgia tour than saying that console wars need to exist, because I feel like you shouldn't need console wars to make the best game possible and want to pour in money to make the gaming experience affordable, fun, and inclusive. But the console wars forced people's hands because it was like, hey, if you don't come out with something dope, eventually your console is going to be left behind or traded into GameStop for this other console. And you're never winning those people again. And I just feel like something that changed my perspective on life itself was Metroid Prime for the GameCube. Games like that were so fun and introduced so many different dimensions to gaming that I didn't think was possible. Because you have to remember, I was used to playing on the Nintendo 64. I was used to playing the PlayStation 1 and 2 until like the PlayStation 3, 360 and such came out. But like gaming evolved so quick. Don't even get me started on the Sega Dreamcast. That's an underrated console. Matter of fact, for my brother's birthday, I think a year or two ago, I went and because I forgot what happened to his Dreamcast, but I bought him another Dreamcast for his birthday. Because it was just one of our favorite consoles. Because we had, I think Tony Hawk's Pro Skater was on the Dreamcast. I could be wrong. And I know that Sonic Adventures 1 was on the Dreamcast. Tomb Raider was a huge game for us. That was on the Dreamcast. Tomb Raider was so fun on the Dreamcast, dude. There's so many games, so much excitement. And I look back on that time, and I'm just like, yo, like, we really had it made with games. Do you know how fun it was to pick up and play Grand Theft Auto 3 and San Andreas, bro? Do you know how epic and great? I honestly, and I truly mean this, there's been some great Grand Theft Auto games. I'm not even gonna lie. I liked a lot of stuff Rockstar's made. I love the Mafia series. I love so many different stuff, man. But let me tell you something. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas may be the best game to ever come out of Rockstar. I'm being so serious. Because some of the games in this era, bro, I'm talking about Gears of War. I'm talking about Assassin's Creed. I'm talking about, which Assassin's Creed was on the, you're able to play on the PS3 and Xbox 360 if I'm not mistaken. But still, Assassin's Creed, Grand Theft Auto, Halo, Gears of War, Devil May Cry, Metal Gear Solid, like Metroid Prime, Super Smash Bros. Melee. There was so much thought, care, nerdiness, and excitement in these video games that I feel like don't exist on average anymore. Back then, the average just used to be, we're going to make the best game humanly possible. And again, it's not like during that era, there were only bangers. There were plenty of games that fell through the cracks or weren't really fun, and etc., etc. But there just used to be games coming out, and they used to be so epic, and the storytelling, the voice acting, the innovative gaming experience that they will give us was so unique. It was so beautiful, and it was just such a great fun time that I just feel like because of money and all kinds of other purposes and reasons, everything is so safe, just like movies, but everything is so safe now with games sometimes. And you'll definitely have some bangers like the Spider-Man games, the God of War games, like stuff like that. But man, it just used to be a time where we just got some really quirky, fun, exciting games that didn't cost an arm and a leg, and you could buy a game and then buy another game back to back because they were affordable yet jam packed with so much care, attention, and purpose. And that's what Console Wars gave us, y'all. It was a time of so much passion, so many fever dreams of just these outlandish ideas that stuck and that meant something to people. And to this day, these actors eat, bro, because the voice actors and game developers eat off these games. And there's so many sequel series to a lot of these titles I'm talking about. But back then, where these titles were still babies, they were just concepts and just got into a product that people could play and witness. It was something different. We got so many cool, innovative, the Infamous series, like Bully. You got so many games that Prince of Persia, right? Like you've got so many games that you could just sit there and play with your buddies on split screen. You know, before there was online services and hella microtransactions and all these Fortnite type things. It felt good to go buy a game that was completed and you went home, you pop it in and immediately start playing. There's no downloading. There was none of that nonsense. It was, here's a game we poured our blood, sweat, and tears in, and here you go. Here's the experience. And remember the cheat codes for San Andreas and Grand Theft Auto to get unlimited health, to get guns, to get flying car cheat codes. I remember, anyone who knows. Yeah, sheet of paper and your composition notebook or whatever, and you'll go and you do L1, R1, left. You do left down, right up, triangle, triangle, circle, circle, and you get your jetpack and you'll do all this. I remember I used to have it memorized. L1, L2, R1, R2, left down, right up, left down, round, down, and it'll give you unlimited health, like stuff like that. Or you get like the 5-star cheat code to get the military tanks after you. Like, it was a time. People stayed in GameStop. People stayed in Circuit City. People went in and out of Blockbuster wanting greatness, bro, just to get a chance to borrow these games to play it for a weekend. And you would have people come over, you'd get yourself a large pepperoni pizza, you'd get some Fanta or some Sprite, you would sit down with the buddies after a week long of school or work, and you would do 4 screens and go play Halo 2 together, or Halo 3 together, or go beat Gears of War together. And it was just something that was so pure. There was no online, there was chat rooms and stuff like that, but there was no... It wasn't what it is today with online discourse of video games. It wasn't how it is with so much of the greed and corruption. At least I don't want to just, I don't want to say there wasn't. I'm sure there was on the developer side of things. But in terms of the fan base, it felt so much more united because not everyone had a think piece. It was just, hey, what's this title called? Oh, it's called Kingdom Hearts? What? Oh, these characters look cool. They look really like they look like Final Fantasy characters. Whoa, what do you mean Disney Interactive? Is that Donald Duck? Is that Mickey Mouse? Is that Goofy? Mickey Mouse with Final Fantasy characters? Sign me up. Went on a bargain deal at Circuit City. Ended up being one of my favorite franchises of all time in Kingdom Hearts. There's so much love that's still in video games today. Do not get me wrong, but there's something about the state of video games that just don't feel the same. Just like every other thing, it just doesn't feel the same. It feels like everyone wants money. I'm not even just talking about the developers and corporations. I'm talking about like everyone who has a think piece online and those that get paid to rage bait and just troll people. Then you have IGN, which is one of the most, they're very weird when it comes to gaming, man. But yeah, Console Wars was a time to be had. And for those of you that did not experience Console Wars, I hope I did a decent job in just letting you know how fun it was. Because there was nothing like beating Gears of War for the first time. And when playing Gears of War 2 and 3. And then going like, okay, let's go to like Walmart or something and go pick out a $15 to $20 game, or Circuit City and go and pick up a $15 game or a $10 game. Then you see Kingdom Hearts as a bargain, and you play that, and it blows your mind. Then out of nowhere, not that long later, Kingdom Hearts 2, and then you go play, and you're like, this is the greatest thing ever, and it's just. And don't even get, and I didn't even talk about I talked about Nintendo GameCube, but then you have the Game Boy SP, the game, like, you're playing Pokemon, you're playing Mega Man games on the SP and Game Boy Advance. Like, there was so much competition. Don't get me started on the PSP. The PSP is one of the greatest handheld consoles that never got the full life it deserved, because yes, there was many variations afterwards, but it just, the original PSP, man, in Midnight Club Dub Edition, like, there was just, it was something to be had. It was just a time. It was a time that won't be replicated, and I'm thankful every day I experienced this time to be a nerd, that time to be a nerd. Because there's no way you get out of that era and don't love video games. There's plenty of cool games today that I'm sure a lot of people love. But oh my God, dude, the games that came out during that era, in my opinion, the peak of the console wars, set up so many people today. And I'm just, again, forever thankful. Forever thankful. Because I don't think people remember, last thing, I don't think people remember when the 360 came out, how much it changed the game. Because Party Chat changed the freaking game, bro. Because people forget, PS3, bro, you had to get the Bluetooth headset joint, and then you had no Party Chat to play Call of Duty with Game Chat, which wasn't terrible when you weren't used to Party Chat, because Party Chat was awesome. Party Chat revolutionized the game for many obvious reasons, but one of the ones I feel like people forget about, Party Chat was how, at least when it came to the natural evolution of online gaming, how you were supposed to experience games like Madden, NBA, like Madden franchise mode, where you can play all your friends. That's meant for Party Chat situations, bro. Like, and then Call of Duty 4, and then Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, brother. Those were meant for Party Chats. Xbox 360 was changing the game. Then you had Netflix come on the gaming consoles and on the 360. And man, early Netflix on the 360 had some titles, bro. That's really, I've always watched anime, but that's really what helped me get on anime, like during the summers, when I was off from school. And I could just binge watch, like, there's so many series that you just never know about. And it was on Netflix early back then. And man, the console wars was just a time for nerd game enthusiasts everywhere, bro. And I'll always forever be thankful, if nothing else, for that time. I know as an adult now, it's harder to play games. My interest and money, my money in my wallet kind of frees up because some of these games get really expensive. But man, there was a time, bro. There was a time where it was just gamers heaven, man. It was just a niche, nerdy ass thing that a lot of people loved, and we can get together. It was peak World of Warcraft. I just don't think you guys understand what it meant to people, what it was. And I want to get some of my other gamer friends on the pod to help talk and discuss about this, because, man, like I said, it was a flippin' time, bro. It was a flippin' time. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share, y'all. Let me know your favorite games that came out of the console wars. See you on the next one. Deuces.